SWAT's on the move. Driver wouldn't wait.
That's fine, thanks, Andy. Hey, Kate, bear with me. It's gonna get a little noisy here. We gotta clear out some minds.
Take your time. Just let me know when you can talk.
Wunderbar. Prächtig. Schön zu sehen. Das Identifizieren auf der Straße hätte ich mir sparen können. Obwohl, man weiß nicht, ob noch was Härteres auf der Straße rumliegt. Bobby vor! Noch ein! X. Ne?
Okay, road's safe now. Bring the van on up.
Will do. Also, Mac, the NATO guys, they've kicked in all the doors. You're free to search inside the buildings now.
Got it.
Sehr
At
gut,
least I
dann
can get out of the fucking rain.
werden wir
I'll
das
come find you
tun.
in a bit.
Have fun reminiscing.
Morning. You been in?
You kidding me? I ain't going in there, man. That shit's all yours.
Wird schon explodieren, denke ich mir.
Where are you now?
Who, me? I'm exploring.
I can hear an echo.
Yeah, I'm in what used to be the mayor's place, actually. At least it was before the government forces took it over.
Tell me more about Staff Sergeant Adams. You met him on a previous deployment. That must have been in Generous, right?
No, actually, this was after I'd left the military. Previous deployment with IDAP, Takistan. It must have been, God, 15 years ago? I think. Feels like another lifetime.
Okay, das nächste Szenario. Der Guerilla. Erst IDAP, dann etwas NATO EF und jetzt die Guerillas. Wir werden hier von jeden Seiten das mitbekommen. Sehr gut.
I got a leaflet here. The army must have scattered thousands of these.
Propaganda.
Something like that.
There is still time to surrender. Cease resistance. Further acts of aggression against the Altis army forces will be the death of you.
This one says, there's still time to surrender. Maybe a bad choice of words considering.
Time to surrender. What's the context here?
This was last year, September. These leaflets, they were dropped maybe a day before the fighting began. You see, the guerrillas there, they'd found themselves a new leader. Charismatic, ex-military. For him, this was no time to surrender. Far from it. In fact, he used that time to rally his people, encourage them to resist, build defenses. Meanwhile, the army was setting up for a major offensive. The attack on Oreo Castro, it was no secret. Of course, after the leaflet drop, IDAP started to pull out of the town. So the little I do know, well, that brings us back to the brother. The one who disappeared. His name was Alexis. He'd volunteered to build a barricade. Town was his home.
So, these leaflets, they were a warning to the town.
Yeah, they confirmed the offensive.
The government was concerned about civilian casualties.
Don't sound too surprised.
So, NATO's message, do you think it was getting through? I mean, according to the laws of armed conflict, that's the principle of precaution, right?
Sure, maybe. Or maybe they were just sick of all the extra paperwork.
Maybe. Oh Mann. Komplett kaputt. Gut. Ach, die Barrikade steht noch nicht. Wir bauen jetzt die Barrikade, die wir vorhin schon gesehen haben. Alles klar. Baum steht noch. Häuser sehen noch schön aus. Der kommende Konflikt muss die Stadt ganz schön zerstört haben. Also wir klauen jetzt Autos, oder wie? Das wird die Nachbarn freuen. Muss man sich mal vorstellen. Eieieiei. Dios mio. Was haben wir denn hier? Ich habe nicht aufgepasst, dass das für Karren waren.
If I understand it, you know about what happened through the brother. Alexis, was it? Did you meet him?
Not directly, but you know, it's a small town, right? People knew Alexis. After what happened here, I talked to the locals. Found out what I could. The rest of what I know is pieced together from the commission report itself.
Actually, that incident report, the evidence you submitted, that's partly why I asked for the interview. I want to gain a human perspective.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, for a humanitarian commission, those reports tend to be,
A little detached, yes.
Ach, hier knallt's. Nicht schlecht. Gut, dann gehen wir davor mal den grünen Van klauen. Mal gucken, wen wir damit abpissen. Oh, was haben wir denn hier? Hausfriedensbruch. Uiuiuiuiuiuiuiuiui. Schick. Nun aber.
Do you think Alexis, I don't know, thought twice about taking these vehicles?
look, sure, these were his neighbors, but this was their home, and it was under attack. What would you do?
Wow. Wahrscheinlich müssen wir den Krankenwagen auch noch klauen. Richtig bitter.
Help me out with some context here. This barricade.
I mean, it was crude, right? A gap between two outcrops of rock, natural bottleneck. The guerrillas hoped to block the road by jamming it with vehicles. As for the vehicles in the barricade, the commission actually linked the plates to a number of locals. Of course, several were still missing after the incident, so the investigation made some assumptions.
Oh, wir wissen doch, wo das Erdbeben herkommt.
Hey, just a thought. You remember the earthquakes back then?
Yes, they were quite frequent. Were IDAP at all concerned about that?
Oh, yeah. Any kind of disaster relief on top of what we were dealing with, it would have just about finished us off completely.
Ach komm, das ist einfach nur falsch. Nicht nur, dass die Stadt vermint haben, jetzt haben die auch noch Krankenwagen geklaut.
IDAP's neutrality was one thing, but the situation they faced was quite another.
You mean to say even your own vehicles were commandeered?
Nothing like biting the hand that feeds you, huh?
Echt ein schönes Ding. Ganz ehrlich. Ja, hier wollte ich mich jetzt vielleicht nicht unbedingt auf die Trage legen, aber ist okay. Nun gut. Dann tun wir das halt einfach. Was soll's. Wo stellen wir das Ding hin? Ich würde sagen,
So, just to clarify,
die andere
in your
Seite.
email you said you served as a combat engineer, the Marine Corps?
That's right. South Zagoria, generous.
Then it's fair to say you're no stranger to the subject of my article, the laws of armed conflict.
I've seen a few things, heard stories. It's rarely been, clear cut, right and wrong.
Oh, absolutely. That's why it's so important to gain your perspective. You've seen things from both sides. I mean, now as an NGO too.
Sure, yeah.
Ach so. Nathan war sogar ein Generous. Und in Pakistan. Der Junge kam rum. So, da vorne in der Garage habe ich noch eine Karre gesehen. Ich denke mal, die wird noch zu klauen sein. Ah. Kirche haben sie anscheinend auch nicht aufgegeben.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Just, I was thinking, he even took a local priest's car. I remember I was talking to Father Georgiopoulos, and he was actually very good about the whole thing.
How so?
Something about rich men and camels.
After Alexis built the barricade, what then? Did he stay inside the town?
No, that's where the story gets more complicated. The barricade itself was later chained up and set on fire by someone else. I don't know quite who. Alexis, he headed west to lay mines.
Oh. Au, 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 au. In meinem Kopf spielt sich schon ein Szenario ab. Wir haben die Minen da unten gelegt, die wir am Anfang geräumt haben. Aha. Was, wenn wir auch die Mine gelegt haben, die unseren Bruder getötet hat?
Anti-tank mines were already in the ground.
Bitter.
If there's no pull fuse, and so long as they've not been stacked, they aren't too hard to remove. But Alexis, although he didn't use anti-handling devices, he did create a hybrid minefield.
AT mines. Mixed with APs.
That's it, yeah. He put anti-personnel mines around the anti-tank ones, made clearance all that much harder.
Kurze Hose, aber Crew Helmet. Alles klar. Das Ding steht auch mega stabil. Sehr effektiv sein später. Ja, Jungs, lass doch nicht stören hier. Nicht wahr? Ja, zumindest hat er einen Finger lang. Eieieiei. Gut, Axtwurftraining. Gut. Na, dann legen wir jetzt doch mal die Hurensohn-Minen da unten.
These mines, how did they get hold of them?
They got them when the government's outposts fell into guerrilla hands. Bounding mines. A type that leaps up a meter into the air before exploding. Nasty stuff. Hell, nowadays they're even made with plastic casing to throw off older types of mine detector.
Lovely.
Oh yeah, just do yourself a favor. Don't look up Bouncing Betty injuries online.
Bitter. Es wird immer bitterer.
And they're still there?
Mm-hmm. And not for long. We're setting up our demining drones as we speak.
Soll ich den sogar absichtlich zu den Panzerminen legen? Er ist einfach nur daneben. Einfach nur falsch. Ah! Ihr habt eben am Minenfeld. Gar nicht gute Idee.
You know, thinking about it, even if we had a record of where Alexis's mines were, it may not do much good.
No? I thought minefield maps were a key part of your work.
Most folks don't realize, but landmines, they don't stay put. Heavy rain, landslides, keeping a map current ain't so simple. And with all the earthquakes in this region, there's little chance they'd all be in the same place. I don't know. Alexis proved to be quite the combat engineer. He placed the mines exactly as he'd been shown.
So, moving on. Where did Alexis go next?
He took a quad bike up to the castle behind the town.
Gut, dann werden wir genau das tun. Auf zum Schloss. Burg. Dings.
The castle? Why?
He was needed at the guerrillas' base camp.
Okay. His group were running things from up at the castle.
Mm-hmm. And I see what you're getting at. Yeah, Geneva Convention's cultural objects, I think.
Oh shit. Da war ja was.
The barricade. There wasn't any way around it then?
From the road? No, well, not unless you cut through the compound.
Yeah. Quads, ey. Scheißteile.
Maybe a technical question.
Go ahead.
In these situations, do those involved commonly record the locations of minefields?
That's a tough one. Take this situation, for example. I'm convinced Alexis would have made a record. It's his home, after all. But do we have access to that information? No. And that's the problem. Things, information, people, landmines, they get lost in the fog of war. But that's the thing about landmines. Lost or not, they stick around. They wait to be found.
Puff. Also die Stadt hier unten, die Stellungen hier oben. Das ist aber schon Next Level Resistance. Kein Wunder, dass die Stadt so aussieht, wie sie aussieht.
Do you feel these preparations made a difference?
In the short term, I do, yeah. The barricade held. The government's tanks were knocked out on the road.
And in the long term?
I'd go on, but as you may have heard, it's getting kind of loud here.
By the sounds of it, you've got your hands full.
This'll only take a minute. Be right back.
Bet you wish we had one of those in Takistan, huh?
I gotta admit, that's 60 tons of getting shit done.
Jo. Kann man so sagen.
Oh, by the way, while you were busy chatting to, well, whoever that is that isn't your wife.
I told you, Andy, she's a journalist. Get to the point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I assembled the demining drones.
Both of them?
Well, yeah. They're by the van.
Ah, da hinten ist er ja schon. Nun gut, dann schauen wir uns das schöne Ding nochmal an, würde ich sagen, ne?
All right, got the terminal.
Cool. So just connect it to a drone and, yeah, take control.
Okay, soweit nichts Neues.
You got it?
Looking good.
So, you're gonna want to use the auto hover mode. Switch it on whenever you need to stay in one place.
Auto hover, right.
I'll arm the explosives once you've reached the minefield.
Habe ich jetzt hier nur einen Driver wahrscheinlich, hier, logischerweise. Aktuell schalten sie mir den Rest noch nicht frei. Nein, der war meint. Up we go. Aber wo gehen wir eigentlich hin? Links war was markiert, oder? Ja. Da, wo vorher der Rest war, habe ich das Gefühl. Nun gut.
Heads up. Enabling charges.
I don't get it.
Okay, now. The bombs. You only got 4. Release one and it'll drop straight down. Simple physics. If you run out, fly over to the van. There's plenty spare.
Ich
Thanks.
hab Bomben dabei, oder was? Das ist ein Bombenrun. Serious? Okay, Moment mal. Erstmal das Ding hier ruhig stellen. Das kann ich jetzt hier hin.
Having fun there?
Making things go boom, you know it.
Safety's on.
Understood. These demining charges pack quite a punch. What's in them?
500 grams of Krovex water gel, baby.
Autohover mal hier ist eben kurz. Ich möchte das Ding sehen. Die kleinen Büchsen da. Nicht schlechte. Okay, wir gehen nochmal ein bisschen runter jetzt. Autohover nochmal aus, damit es auch richtig schön wackelt, die ganze Scheiße. Hui! Wuhu! Okay, so wird das nichts. Besser. Ach, jetzt bin ich wieder nicht so hoch genug. Yay! Ich sollte das Ding sicherer fühlen, aber es macht gerade irgendwie. Okay, aus. So, psch, psch.
I'm out.
Don't sweat it. Steer back on over to the van. I'll rearm you. There you are. Set it down where you started. Over by those white containers.
Ja, mehr oder weniger. Gilt, oder? Ist jetzt geladen oder was? 2. Mehr kriege ich nicht, oder wie? Oder soll ich noch mal? Ach, da kam die dritte. Ah!
Andy?
Yes, Nathan.
Never mind.
Andy? Jetzt wisst ihr zumindest, warum ich in der Mission nie fliegen sitze. Hätte man das auch geklärt. Ah je.
You got it?
Looking good.
So, you're gonna want to use the auto hover mode. Switch it on whenever you need to stay in one place.
Auto hover, right.
I'll arm the explosives once you've reached the minefield.
Ach, der ist ja automatisch schon an sogar bei dem Ding.
Heads up. Enabling charges. Okay, now. The bombs. You only got 4. Release one and it'll drop straight down. Simple physics. If you run out, fly over to the van. There's plenty spare.
Thanks.
Having fun there?
Making things go boom, you know it. These demining charges pack quite a punch. What's in them?
500 grams of Krovex water jet, baby.
Fuck off. Geht ja überhaupt nichts weiter so. Was soll's, ey.
Safety's on.
Understood. Question. How can I see if I've gotten all the mines?
Your drone's got a dedicated sensor. Get close enough, and it'll detect any nearby explosives. How's it going?
Getting there.
Ach, jetzt hängen die noch so weit auseinander. Kann ich die Drohne dann nicht einfach reinsteuern, den ganzen Dreck? Da hat man das Problem auch nicht mehr. Nun gut.
I'm out.
Don't sweat it. Steer back on over to the van. I'll rearm you.
Ja, lief ja schon mal so gut. Wie. Ach, genau noch 4. Die letzte war echt für den Arsch. Rest fiel ganz gut. Whoops. Kommt die Tanne denn her?
There you are. Set it down where you started, over by those white containers.
Hallo. Beide kenne ich doch. Die Beams, ein verkehrter Rasenmäher. Na gut. Schauen wir mal. Den Rest eventuell noch irgendwie wegbekommen hier. Darf ich nicht? Schade. Och, come on! Jawohl!
All right, almost done.
Muss nicht alle machen, oder? Wenn er das jetzt schon sagt. Dann müssen jetzt noch 1, 2 weg. Wahrscheinlich. Dann hätte ich aber auch schon wieder alle eigentlich.
Gonna need another resupply.
No problem, Max. Same deal.
Was? Was? Die hole ich mir. E-Beam ist ein Rasenmäher. Dich trigger jetzt hoffentlich. Wo will ihr denn jetzt hin? Die Mine. Alter, was ist denn das Ding am Boden so unbehäbig? Sogar mit Auto rüber. Ich will auch dann auf die Mine ruf. Nein. Doch. Moment. Bei uns im Bett habe ich gerade tatsächlich übersprungen. Ja, das ist eine Strat. Die ganzen Schrapnelle sind über mich raus. Sehr gut. Fliegt sie noch? Ja, sie fliegt noch. Ah, wie gut. Ich hoffe, das ist auch nochmal eine Bouncing. Und keine AP. AT. Yep, it is.
That's it.
Sehr gut.
What the fuck was that?
Relax, relax. It sounds like it came from the other side of town. You want me to take a look?
No, stay put. I'll go.
So, schauen wir mal, was da jetzt wieder los ist. Main Detectors an? Ja. Keine Lust, jetzt nochmal irgendwann unabsichtlich in die Mine reinzulaufen. Das kann man sich auch echt sparen. Wenn es Flupp macht, habe ich hoffentlich sofort den Reflex, mich auf den Boden zu legen, weil das hilft bei den Bouncings halt wirklich. Dass es bei der Drohne funktioniert, hätte ich aber nicht gedacht. Das ist richtig gut. Oh, wir haben wieder einen Spot. Ich will mal drauf achten, ob ich ein paar mehr davon finde, eventuell.
By the way, Kate, I guess everyone there is pretty busy, you know, covering the peace talks.
At AAN?
Yeah.
It's quite hectic, yes. We're flying out a team, actually. Should be on the ground in the next few days.
Any insider info?
Well, it seems likely Nikos Panagopoulos will be the new president.
Really? That ex-guerrilla? Hell, Colonel Acantero's days must really be numbered. Yeah, collapsed building, UXO, I bet. Skittish things at the best of times.
Disturbed by your demining activity?
Could be. That's what makes them so damn dangerous. You never know if they're gonna stay unexploded.
Ich sehe da noch einen Reminder, denke ich.
Those earthquakes you mentioned, weren't there some fairly bad ones not so long ago?
Schön.
Nothing too major. The worst came during NATO's invasion, actually. Solid 4s and 5s on the Richter scale. The soil out here is pretty loose, though. Folks were worried about gas lines getting damaged. Turns out they were right to be.
Sollten dann auch nochmal zur Kirche hochlaufen. Gut, das ist auf jeden Fall ein neues Szenario. Aber ich denke mal, wir kommen sowieso nochmal zurück. Oder? Ja, wir werden schon nochmal zurückkommen und die Kirche sehen. Ich denke, es wird alles darauf hinspielen.
Hello. How'd you get here?
Another find?
Mm-hmm. Laser designator. Kind of thing special forces would use to call in an airstrike.
Oh, interesting. Actually, the airstrike on the town, the details of that are fuzzy.